Hi, I'm Melamed. These days the eyes of the world are turning into Libya. Indeed, it seems as if the rule of Gaddafi that ruled Libya for more than 40 years in an iron fist is about to come to an end, and Libya is entering a new chapter in its history. At this point, of course, there are many questions. Is Libya going to disintegrate into sub-entities that will reflect the distribution of power between the different tribes of which Libya is made of? Is Libya going to be more Western affiliated? Or perhaps radical Islam factors will take advantage of the chaotic situation and rise to power in Libya? Indeed, many questions. Some people are more optimistic, some are less optimistic. In this video today, I would like to explore some of the strategic impacts of the events in Libya on a different circles. At this part, I will explore the immediate close circle to Libya, two major states. One is Morocco and the other one, Egypt. In Morocco, there is a monarchy, King Mohammed VI. The monarchy in Morocco draws its legitimacy back from the daughter of the Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam. In the last couple of months, the King of Morocco has been doing lots of inner political reforms. The objective of these reforms are to make sure that the monarchy in Morocco will outlast the current tsunami in the Arab world. In that context, Morocco is not different than other monarchies in the Arab world. In fact, one of the interesting things that we see today in the region is the reformation of Arab monarchies, like Jordan, like Morocco, and other Arab monarchies, under the leadership of Saudi Arabia. This is what I call the axis of the monarchies. Interesting enough, currently, in the midst of all the events that happens in the Middle East, it would seem that the axis of the monarchies is the one, relatively speaking, that is more stable. It would seem, at least in the visible future, that this axis will outlast, at least for now, the tsunami in the Arab world. The endurance and survival of the Moroccan monarchy in the context of the events in Libya is enormously important to the axis of the other monarchies. The Jordanian monarchy, for instance, the Hashemite family, draws their legitimacy from the grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad. Similar to the Moroccan king, Abdullah II, the Jordanian king, also enjoys the support and affection of its people. Yet it is not enough, and they know they must make, and they are doing, inner political and social reforms in order to outlast that tsunami. It would appear then that, at least in the visible future, the Moroccan monarchy, like the Jordanians and the other monarchies, will outlast that tsunami. The endurance and survival of the Moroccan monarchy in the shade of the dramatic events in Libya is enormously crucial for the endurance and survival of the whole monarchy's axis. It will strengthen, clearly, also the position of Saudi Arabia as the leader of that region today. It then brings me to talk a little bit about Egypt. Egypt has a long traditional relationship with Libya, economically, socially, politically, and so forth. In fact, large part of the population of Egypt, mostly in the north area of Egypt and mostly along the Egyptian coast, have a long tradition relationship with the Libyan people, either by marriage, business, and so forth. The events in Libya up until now mostly negatively impact Egypt from different perspectives. The first and the most immediate one is the fact that shortly after the break of the events in Libya, Gaddafi and his sons blamed Egypt for supporting the rebels. As a revenge, they ordered their supporters to kick out and even to kill Egyptians that are in Libya. 1.5 million Egyptians used to be in Libya. Most of them are workers. They make their income in Libya. They send the money that they've earned in Libya back to their families in Egypt. As an outcome of the brutal actions taken by the Libyan regime, hundreds of thousands of Egyptians were forced to flee from Libya. The Egyptian government basically had to form an aerial and sea convoy in order to save hundreds of thousands of Egyptians that were exposed to danger in Libya. The problems of Egypt did not end here. The huge wave of Egyptians that came back to Libya have become part of the huge unemployment circle in Egypt. That, of course, was adding to the burden on the falling economy of Egypt. As if that's not enough, Egypt had another problem, a security problem along the Egyptian and Libyan border. The smuggling of both terror activists, weapon, ammunition, including advanced weapon, that was making its way from Libya into the territory of Egypt, including Sinai, apparently also partly into the Gaza Strip through the tunnels. And finally, the events in Libya also impacted Egypt's inner political arena, as people in Egypt were divided between people who support the regime in Libya, the Gaddafi regime, and those who objected the Gaddafi regime. On the ground, the Egyptian government was trying to keep a neutral position, mostly out of a concern for the Egyptians in Libya. But it was clear that the popular common sentiment among most of the Egyptians was one of supporting the Libyan rebels in their fight against the rule of Gaddafi. On the verge of the fall down of the Gaddafi regime, there are expectations in Egypt that the negative course of events will be now changed and things will move forward in a more positive context. The major expectation today in Egypt that is that the events in Libya and the downfall of the Gaddafi regime will impact positively on Egypt, mostly economically speaking. In fact, already by now, construction companies, building companies, iron companies, agricultural companies, all of them from Egypt are anticipating impatiently to the time they will be called upon to participate in the rebuilding and rehabilitation of Libya following the damages that were caused during the war of the last couple of months. In that sense, there is an anticipation in Egypt that from now on, in the context of Libya, things will be much more positive as far as Egypt is concerned. Obviously, there is also anticipation that once things will be stabilized in Libya, stability will be regained also along the Egyptian and Libyan border. The impact of the downfall of the Gaddafi regime exceed the immediate circle. It is impacting an external circle, and not less important one. In my next video, I will talk about one of these circles, the axis of radicalism under the leadership of Iran, the axis that is known by the name of the axis of the resistance and the refusal. And I will explore the different strategic impact of the events in Libya on that axis. I'm Melamed. Thank you for watching.